We've all seen those wonderful social media posts for the fabulous country clothing with beautiful people in lovely tweed and fabulous country boots. However, and I'm going to embarrass myself here, I clean the chickens out in the morning before my morning coffee in my pyjamas in an old work fleece. And this is the reality of the small holding homestead environment. In today's video, we're going to be showing you our recommendations on what we really wear as workwear here on our small holding.
Hello, welcome to English Country Life. Welcome to the orchard on a windy, blustery spring day. My name's Hugh, and together with my lovely wife Fiona, we run a rural small holding homestead here in Lincolnshire. And on a lot of our videos, we get questions about the clothes we wear, whether it's Fiona's fantastic leather boots or my silly hats. And we have promised in the past to do a video to explain the kind of clothes we wear. And we're not doing this as a fashion parade, we're doing it to explain the kind of clothes that we've found stand up to working in a tough outdoor environment day after day after day. We need to cover winter and summer, so let's get started. Right, let's start with bad weather clothing and coats, because they're probably one of the major investments you need to make. In my view, most of the synthetic stuff is a waste of time for working outside in foul weathers doing tough jobs. If you wear Gore-Tex to string barbed wire, if you try and wear one of those puffer jackets and push through some blackthorn, it's going to be shredded in no time at all. So you want something tough, you want something warm. This is my choice at the moment for day-to-day wear in colder weather. This is a Chore coat from Carhartt. It's made of 12-ounce canvas, which is really thick. It's like a tarpaulin. It's wonderfully strong. It's wonderfully warm, partly because it's blanket lined. It's big and it's tough, and it keeps me warm when I'm going out in the morning, last thing at night, or in foul, windy weather like this.
Hugh's Carhartt Chore coat is the absolute cream of the crop. But in this video you're going to hear us a lot talk about second hand for sustainable reasons and for natural fibres for exactly the same reason. So I've got two coats I want to show you that I wear in winter. This one you'll see in a lot of our videos. It's actually an army surplus jacket, and I think it's either Belgian or German armies. Picked it up at a country fair just for £10. Absolute bargain. It's double layered, so warm, windproof, and I don't care if it gets pulled to pieces. Now it has to be said, I'm missing a lot of buttons now, and I haven't had a chance to sew them back on, but it does have spares. But I'll get round to that. It's such a workhorse, great coat. I do have one other that you won't see in videos very much, and that's because it's very, very ugly. And it's this 1970s coat. Now, it is sheepskin, so that's not what makes it ugly. It's a 1970s style of it, which I bought from a charity shop. It's amazing. £15. It's taking me through rain, snow, sleet. It is so warm. It is highly unlikely that any rain, snow or sleet is going to penetrate this sheepskin, get to me on the inside and make me freezing cold. But you will notice this wonderful styling I have on the front. Now, this is called the egg wash look. And that's where I've broken some eggs accidentally when I've been collecting them in the morning. And it's just gone all over the front. But I don't care for £15. It's such a great coat for the small holding.
A great choice for a foul weather coat is the waxed jacket. I paid 10 quid for this one second hand on eBay, and then I had to reproof it, and I made my own wax to do it, and we'll put a link up above of how you can do that. But that's the point of the wax jacket. They're repairable, they're reproofable. They're not something like Gore-Tex that once it's damaged or once it delaminates is gone forever. They can last through generations in a family. And I love them. This one is a Barber, the classic English country person's outdoor coat, worn by everyone from the lord of the manor to the gamekeeper. There are other great brands out there as well. I like Dryser Bone. Those are jackets that often are cut in much longer styles, and they avoid that area in the middle of your leg where the water runs off your jacket onto your leg. One of the most important things that we wear is this mid layer, something between our base layer and our coat, because honestly I only put coats on when the weather's extreme. If I'm moving or working hard, I don't need a coat on all the time, even in frankly 0 centigrade conditions. If I'm working hard, all I need is a good mid layer, and this to me is the perfect mid layer. A heavy wool shirt. They are fantastically warm, even if wet. You can undo them to ventilate. They are so much more sustainable and so much warmer than something like a fleece. They are brilliant, brilliant garments. This one is made by a company called Woolrich. There are others made by people like Filson and Pendleton, and they're generally, not exclusively, but generally American, because Americans are better at workwear than we are in the UK. They're also better at using wool than we are in the UK. And wool is a fabulous, sustainable material, and we honestly should be making more of it. Now, brand new, these garments can be quite expensive, but do what we do. Keep your eye out on places like eBay and Pre-Loved, and you can often pick them up for about a quarter of their new price, and they look barely worn. And for workwear, that's perfect.
Hugh was talking about his Woolrich shirts, which he likes for winter, and I'm just the same. And I'm actually wearing a Pendleton wool shirt, and that makes it lightweight and incredibly warm. Now, this one was actually bought by Hugh for himself, but one of the reasons that second-hand shirts are so cheap is sometimes the sizing is incorrect. So this was sold in a man's size that should have fitted him exactly. It should have been perfect. In fact, it should have been roomy on him, but actually when it turned up, it was quite tight. So guess who got it? That's right, I've inherited this fantastic Pendleton wool shirt.
Summer shirts. You can see two here, t-shirt and an overshirt. The overshirt is cotton, it's 511, it's slightly thicker than a normal domestic shirt, and I wear them like a light jacket in the morning, in the evening, when the sun's either getting up or going down, just to give me that extra little bit of warmth. But they're both long sleeved. I do wear sun cream. I think it's really, really important. I think those days of thinking sunburn is something to be clever are long behind us now. I've had skin cancer, and I'll tell you now, it's no fun at all. Now, although I wear sun cream, I prefer a garment to protect me, because I find I sweat a lot when it's hot. The soil and things I'm working on will rub off the sun cream that I'm using, and I don't always remember to top it up. When I've got a garment on with long sleeves or long trousers, I make sure that I'm properly protected.
My approach to summer wear is a bit different to Hugh's. I tend to wear cotton or linen overshirts in summer. They're sustainable, natural materials, so they're not these artificial fibres, and I can pick them up very, very cheaply. And actually, I do buy quite a lot second hand. And I'd use factored duffel coats, sun cream. So what I tend to do is in the very, very hot days, I can then take the overshirt off, and I've got tank tops or spaghetti strap vest tops underneath, and that keeps me very, very cool while I'm working in the vegetable garden.
Let's talk trousers. My choice of trousers will come as a surprise to no one who watches our videos. But cargo trousers, so-called, with the big thigh pockets, are my friend for working outdoors. It's a place to put spanners and screwdrivers and whatever I'm working with. I'll tuck a trowel in or a set of secateurs in if I'm pruning. You need storage when you're working outside. This particular pair is fairly old, fairly busted up, because I've worn them a lot, but they're a brand called 511, and they have double and even triple layers of fabric. They have pockets in the knees with a double layer of fabric, so I can put padding in if I'm working kneeling down. And on this side, I've actually worn through the knee in one place, but because there's another layer of heavy fabric underneath, it doesn't matter. They are quite an investment, but they do come on offer from time to time, and they're well worth getting. Now, I also have a warm line pair or two for the very cold winter days, and very lightweight fabric, but in the same type of design for the summer. Either way, pockets are your friend.
Trousers for me in winter is actually a very simple choice. I favour jodhpurs. Now you might be asking why, because you've never seen a horse here on the property. Well, the reality is jodhpurs are very stretchy, give me lots of freedom of movement. But you might say, why not leggings? And the issue I've got with leggings is that there are cheap end leggings which actually are so thin they're not worth it. Or if you want thick ones, you've got to pay a premium. Now, jodhpurs tend to be actually knitted out of very, very thick net gauge, so they tend to be thicker and cheaper than good quality leggings, so you get more bang for your buck, as they say. But it also means, because they are stretchy, I can put another layer underneath on very cold days. So if it happens to be snowing or the sleet, or it's just very, very cold, I can put long johns underneath without it actually inhibiting the range of movement I've got, because they stretch incredibly well.
Trousers for the hotter weather. I'm doing this by popular demand. People have got together and begged me not to wear shorts. So you've got to oblige, haven't you? So I wear very lightweight cargo trousers. 5'11", do a great version. So do crag hoppers, which are more designed really, honestly, for sort of outdoor walking, mountaineering, etc. But they're great and tough on the small holding. They work really well. They have plenty of pockets and all in the right place.
My approach to summer wear is a bit different to Hugh's, but it has some similarities. So he favours his combat trousers, and they're very lightweight with lots and lots of pockets. Now I want to go for a similar route, so I want lightweight, cool, but lots of pockets. So if you're in the UK, I select dungarees. If you're in the US, they're called overalls. And that means I have got a loose garment, which is really good, hard wearing canvas. I don't scratch my legs when I'm actually working in the gooseberries picking that fruit, for example, but it is cool, and I've got all the extra pockets, which makes it incredibly practical, which means I can carry string around, scissors if I need them, secateurs, without having to go back and collect things.
Let's talk boots. I love neoprene Wellingtons. Fiona will confirm I can walk for 10 miles in them. I drive in them all the time. Honestly, I live and die in this kind of Wellington boot. I like the brand Grubs. There are other brands out there like Muck boots, etc. and they all have slightly different lasts, so they all fit slightly differently. And it's worth going somewhere and trying on a few pairs to find the brand that suits you best. But these for me are fabulous. These are warm-lined winter variety. I've also got much lighter weight summer variety in them, but they're comfortable, they don't rub, they don't slip like traditional Wellingtons do, and honestly, I wouldn't be without them.
Out of all the clothing we wear in our social media posts, these boots get commented on the most. And these are actually from Carhartt, and they're a model called Berwick, and I love them. These boots are 7 years old and they're hardly worn in. The soles, the tread is barely worn. And I have to say, in that 7 years, I've worn them nearly every day in winter from October through to May. And you wouldn't know that that'd been the case. Now, Carhartt generally make for the horse riding world, the equestrian world, and those people are on their feet all day, all the time. So the boots are designed so that your feet aren't fatigued at the end of the day, even though you're walking around and working really, really hard. They're fully insulated, but don't let these elasticated laces up the front fool you, because there's a full length zip up the back, which means getting them on and taking them off is really, really easy. But trust me, these boots are worth the investment.
Okay, boots. They look the same, they're not. They're much thinner, they're uninsulated, they have lighter weight soles, so they're not as hot on my feet. But honestly, it is rare for me. I will break out the trainers when it gets up to around 40 centigrade, but up to then, I prefer boots.
So once we're into summer, footwear goes from one extreme to the other. I go from highly insulated Carhartt Berwick boots to Crocs. Now, there's some great advantages with Crocs. They are incredibly cool to wear, they are incredibly comfortable, and at the end of the day I can just hose them off, and I can actually just hose my feet off, because I'm not going to pretend my feet don't get dirty wearing these with the holes in them. They do, but it doesn't matter. They are very practical footwear. Now, you might notice these are a very comfortable and colourful variety, and that's because these are limited edition. And I'm not doing that because, well, I am doing it because they make me happy, because they are colourful. But the other main reason is because they're limited edition, they tend to be sold off when that range comes to an end. So I get these 30 or 40% off the original price. But if I go for one of the standard colours, I don't get that money off. So they are worth looking out for. And look at them, they're colourful, they make me happy.
I'm going to make this point because it's really important. When you're going to be a smallholder, when you're going to work outdoors, get yourself some safety footwear. Honestly, do. Fiona and I both have them. I much prefer these to the old-fashioned rigger boot steel toe caps that I used to wear. These are by Grubs again. They're called their ceramic range, and they have a ceramic toe cap, which is like a steel toe cap. It offers similar protection, but it's also much warmer because it doesn't conduct heat away from your body. It can't conduct electricity, so overall it actually has a better layer of safety than the old traditional steel toe caps. They also have the sort of neoprene stretch factor, so they're comfortable to wear for a long time, because honestly, steel toe caps rarely are. Let's talk hats. Honestly, working outdoors, you're gonna need hats, and you're gonna need a variety of hats. But for general cold weather work, something like this is fantastic. A wool knitted hat, and I mean wool, not synthetic. Wool is so much warmer. Now this was hand spun by a lovely friend Annette and hand knitted by Fiona, and it's in the voyageur style of Canadian canoeists. You don't need to get anything historical, but something warm, something to keep your head insulated on a cold day really makes a lot of sense. I hate hoods. I despise them with a burning passion. I feel like I'm looking down a tunnel. I've got this rustly thing over my ears. When I turn my head, the hood doesn't turn. Can't abide them, can't work in them. But I need something to keep the rain off my head and off my glasses, which is really important, as anyone who wears glasses will tell you. And a classic peak cap will do that job, but I think there's a better choice. And I like something with an all-round brim. And these kind of hats are available in so many countries. They're available in Australia, in America, in South Africa, and in the UK, in a variety of materials, because they work. And it's not just that they keep the rain off my face, they also stop it running down the back of my neck. And in summer, they stop me getting horribly sunburned. And I have a lightweight canvas one that I wear for summer. An all-round brim is a fantastic choice for working outdoors.
Hugh's got hats for summer and he's got hats for winter, but I don't have hats for summer. I'm not the shady straw hat kind of girl. It's just not my bag. So I've only got hats I wear in winter, and there's only 2 of those, having said that as well. This is one of them. It's a thin slit Benny hat, and even though I'm not a fan of polyester, this was gifted to me, so I'm not in the business of throwing good things away either, because it does the job. It does keep me incredibly warm, but it's not good in wet weather because I'll have water running down the back of my neck. So just like Hugh, I've got a full brimmed hat as well. And it's this one. I've actually got an Australian drover's hat, and it is in full leather, and I regularly apply dub into it so it stays waterproof. And would you believe it, this hat is over 30 years old, and no matter how often I wear it, as long as I take care of it, applying that dub in to keep the leather refreshed, it just won't die on me. It's an amazing bit of kit to be worn on the small holding in a very practical way.
Let's talk gloves. Fiona will talk to you about the sort of gloves that we wear summer and winter for working in wet soil, cold, wet conditions, etc. But I'm going to talk to you about work gloves. This is the sort that I like. They're split hide work gloves. Get the unlined ones or ones with a thin lining, and I will wear through the leather on the fingertips and across the backs of the hands of 2 to 3 pairs of these a year. And in a recent video you'll have seen me running barbed wire, you will see me splitting wood, all those kind of jobs. Honestly, to save the splinters, the stitches and the broken fingers, I wear split hide gloves. I've got a cracker of a scar across that knuckle where a pruning saw bounced off the knuckle and bounced off the bone inside. And to save all those trips to A&E where I have to get another 3 or 4 or 5 stitches and get my fingers put back together, I really like split hide gloves.
Hugh's shown you his leather gloves, and I favour those too, but we both like to have these gloves here for those dirty jobs. Now that might be digging in the soil, it might be dealing with chicken poop, but one pair is for summer, one pair is for winter. The summer pair is just a basic knit glove, but it's rubberized palm and fingers, which means that any dirt can just easily be washed off with a hose. And the winter pair are actually designed for people in the food industry who need to work in freezers. So they have got a fantastic thick lining on the inside, and they're rubberized all the way on the outside. And again, because both sets are rubberized, cleaning them is so easy, so they're perfect for those dirty jobs.
Do you remember when your granny used to get you socks for Christmas and you hated them? when you're a smallholder, you pray for someone who can hand knit your socks and knows how to turn a heel. I haven't got that, so I get these Dutch Army socks, $12.99 a pair, 80% wool. I'll get them on eBay. They are super thick, super soft, super warm, and they last for years. My sock of choice.
There's all of our recommendations for practical smallholding clothing. Now, to be fair, we're not trying to look like we've been dragged through a hedge backwards, but our number one consideration for smallholding clothing is practicality. That's what we're looking for. But I have to say, I did look like I've been dragged through a hedge backwards in the opening scene with me in my pyjamas, but genuinely, that is how I do that job. I clean out the chickens before my morning coffee, before I've got fully dressed. And I do look awful, but I don't care because it's practical. Now, I have to say, none of the clothing featured in this video has been given to us. All of it has been purchased by us, either new or second hand. And if you're interested in any of this clothing, we've got links to some of the brands down below in the description, so do check them out. If you have liked this content, take a moment and give us a thumbs up down below. If you're not a subscriber to the channel already, hit subscribe and the bell icon and you'll get to know every new video as soon as it goes live, and that's a completely free service. If you've got a question for us or an idea for a video, pop it in the comments section and we'll do our best to get back to you as soon as possible, or even make that video for us. But for now, thanks for watching and we look forward to seeing you next time.